Hey everybody, it's Monday morning, and I was listening to a podcast today, which I listen to a lot. It's called The Daily. It's a New York Times podcast. They do like a deep dive into one story. It's like, I think they're like 20 minutes long. So it's a good way to get like good information on one thing. So today they were talking about if corporations can really make a change in the climate. And I'll get to why I'm talking about this in a minute. So this guy, Lawrence Fink, who's like the founder of the world's largest money management firm. So basically, he invests more money in companies than anybody else. So every year, this guy writes a letter to all the big CEOs about what he thinks is important. And they really listen because he controls a lot of money. So this year, the letter was about taking more action on the climate, right? So I think most of us can agree there's a problem with the climate. So what he said in this letter was that more companies need to become carbon neutral or carbon negative in order for him to continue to invest in the companies. So that's a big deal. So money talks, right? So Google has announced a plan of their own. I can't remember exactly what theirs was, but Delta, one of the world's largest airlines, has announced a plan to go neutral, which is kind of confusing because they're huge consumers of fossil fuels, right? But what they're going to do is they're not going to change that they're using fossil fuels, but they've pledged to invest in things like wind plants and solar and different things that make it more negative. So they're going to take all their big consumption and they're going to put money toward kind of balancing that out. Microsoft has said they're going to go negative by 2030. Now, they're not like Delta, so that's going to be easier for them to do. But they're working on technology to try to start sucking the carbon out of the atmosphere. This is my like layman's understanding of this. So why am I talking about this? Because I see a real parallel between this carbon neutral conversation and the climate is should be a very big concern for all of us, right? So what about our health? And I've had a lot of conversations with some people about the idea of health neutral. Okay, stick with me for a second. Health neutral, health negative, and health positive. Okay, so health neutral for your body would mean that let's say if you're trying to lose weight, that you're burning as many calories as you're putting in. That's one way to think about that. Another would be to think about energy, right? Like if you're balancing what you're expecting your body and your brain to do for you during the day, how much sleep are you getting? How much rest are you getting? Is that balanced? So is your sleep at a health neutral? How balanced is that? Is your movement at a health neutral? Okay, so that would mean that you are doing something every day to combat the tightness that we get from sitting, to come out of this crappy posture, that you're actually doing something every day to neutralize the sitting that you're doing, or to neutralize the repetitive motion. If you are like, your job is to be lifting and reaching and doing things like this, one really simple way to neutralize that is to make sure you're reaching in the other direction. So simple concepts like that. If you're thinking in terms of your mindset, are you health neutral in your mindset? So are you balancing the crazy negative thoughts, the crazy chatter that goes on in all of our heads? Are you balancing that with some way to say, that roommate up here in my brain is really kind of an asshole sometimes. And all these things that I'm thinking about on a continuous loop, are they serving me? Probably not. Okay. So that is where I think meditation really comes into play. And like even 10 minutes a day, I'm not talking about like, going on some retreat and being silent for 10 days, which is fine if you want to do that. But practicing a way to neutralize all the shit that's coming in, all the anxiety, all the stress, all the pressures that we put ourselves under. Where's that for you? Okay. So just getting neutral would be wonderful for most of us, right? Because I think a lot of us live a little bit more in the health negative area. So then we expect to feel fine when we stand up. We expect that our back isn't going to be sore. We expect that our hips are just going to be ready to take us and go and do whatever we want to do. But what are we doing to neutralize all the stuff we're doing to our bodies? So I know that many, many people, and myself included sometimes, are much more on the health negative scale of things. And then we can't understand and we can't forgive ourselves when we're tired and when we're stressed and when we're in pain. And we have to think in terms of what we're doing. So just getting health neutral would be a huge step for most people, me included. I do my best at it. I'm not perfect, but I do try, and I do think about these things, and I do put them into action, but nobody's perfect. So you're always kind of playing around that threshold, right? So what would it take to get positive, health positive in all of these things? Then that means, I think, if we're thinking about this, I think I'm thinking about this in a way that makes sense, is that in order to be health positive in your movement, in your mindset, in your fueling, in your rest, that you'd have to be working kind of hard at the movement piece, at the mindset piece, at the rest piece, which isn't just sleep. That's also like just coming down, right? So for me, one of the most restful things is to sit on the couch with the girls and Nicole at the end of the day and watch a show together. Like, to me, that is really restful, and I'm connecting with my family in a kind of a neutral way, but it really does make a difference for us. So it's hard. But if we want our bodies and our minds to take us wherever we want to go, like I had a great conversation with my friend this morning. He's in his 50s, and he was telling me that he is just in this brand new place where he sees so much possibility for the future, and he's ready to start taking care of his body. He's ready. He's thinking differently. He sees that things are changing. He can't keep doing the workouts that he did when he was 20 and 30 because his body's different now, right? So let me know if this resonates. Let me know if this makes no sense at all, or if it makes some sense, or oh my God, yeah, that really makes sense. It's got to be somewhere on that spectrum. So just give me an idea if you don't mind, maybe a quick comment. Shoot me a direct message if you don't like the comments in the public forum. But let me know what you think about this idea of health neutral and what it would take to live in that balance. All right, guys, have a great day.